Hello and welcome to Better Gaming, an event and podcast series dedicated to all aspects of ethical gambling and gaming. My name's Jim, I'm the host of the show, and in this episode I'm going to be talking about the article that you can see on screen here, and it regards a new study which looks at the links between loot box usage and poor mental health. Now, for those unaware, loot boxes are something that have been an increasing matter of concern for me. As a father of a young boy who is actively seeking games, my opinion of loot boxes is that they are an accessible form of gambling that is currently unregulated in the UK. And to best describe it, where better to go than Wikipedia? And so if you don't know about loot boxes, they're also called loot crates or prize crates, and it is a consumable virtual item which can be redeemed to receive a randomized selection of further virtual items or loot, ranging from simple customized options for a player's avatar or character to game-changing equipment such as weapons and armor. Now, I fully appreciate that could equally give you no idea about what a loot box is, but essentially if somebody's playing a video game and they want to shortcut or enhance their player experience by either getting better players or more points or go into a higher level, they can go into these loot boxes where there's an undefined outcome. Essentially you put down £2, £3, £4, £5, and you don't know what you're going to get. So loot boxes are very different to like game passes. So on Fortnite, you can buy a game pass or a battle pass, but you know what you're getting for it. You're getting emotes, you're getting skins, you're getting points which you can enhance your play with. With loot boxes, you could get a range of things from very little and nothing to the best player or loads of points. So it's very much like, sticking a quid in a fruit machine or a arcade machine and not knowing what the outcome is. And so that's very different to a pass. Loot boxes, as mentioned, for me are an accessible form of gambling. And this new study now shows that there's a link between loot boxes and poor mental health when they're doing excessive usage within the game. So that's a concern for me as an observer, as a father, as a person who does game. And this study was undertaken by 4 universities, one in Australia, Nottingham in the UK, Gibraltar and Hungary. And they did an examination of 1,400 adults who participated in gambling and online gaming and found that 96% of the participants had bought loot boxes within the past year. 41% had made more than one purchase a week, and almost 13% reported purchasing loot boxes 4 or more times a year. And the co-author of this study says it's an act of spending money which offer no definitive reward, closely mirroring gambling behavior. And it's prompted experts to call for regulation of loot boxes under gambling laws in multiple jurisdictions. You can see here, this is the Houses of Commons Library, and they've talked about loot boxes. The last time they talked about it was in August 2024. They have been going on about it for quite a few years. 2016, I think, is the first evidence of it being discussed. But essentially what they're looking to do here is extend the regulations of the 2005 Gambling Act to cover loot boxes. And throughout time, in 2020 and 2022, recently in May 2024, they've been discussing whether loot boxes should fall under regulation. I do believe it should be. I think you just have to focus on this element here in the government response in July 2022. Purchases of loot boxes should be unavailable to all children and young people until they're enabled by a parent or a guardian. All players, including children, young people, and adults, should have access and be aware of spending controls and transparent information to support safe and responsible gambling. And a lot of the games are doing that, but what I just think that they should be doing is being more transparent with the drop rates, with the prizes, with the outcomes, and with the spending limits. So say, for example, I wince at how much we spend on Fortnite in V-Bucks. purchasing skins. We try to make it a reward, probably incorrectly, parenting maybe, I don't know. But, we do it for chores, and we act as a reward if he's behaved well, which, as I'm talking out loud here, I don't know whether that's a correct thing, but it just feels right as a parent. Some people will probably be up in arms on that, but that's the way that we just decided to do it. My main concerns, though, are identifying risk factors. So what we're talking about in terms of problem gambling behaviors, and that is mental health issues of stress, anxiety, and depression. And that is something that I wouldn't want to foster or impose upon on my son. So that is why I'm mindful of these sort of situations, and I'm open to changing the way that we engage with loot boxes on the games that he plays. So here, this article says there is a connection, but there should also be further research that's required. And I think they need the research to be undertaken in order to convince legislation in countries and domains that are not currently covering loot boxes in their gambling activities. So you can see here in the article, Belgium and the Netherlands have categorized loot boxes as a form of gambling and have imposed restrictions on their use. This is something that I would like to see in the UK, because at the moment you can see many games, particularly those that operate on a free play model, heavily depend on loot boxes as a source of revenue, being ethical concerns about the influence on players, especially young users and individual vulnerables to addictive behaviors. So, in conclusion, loot boxes are something that you need to be aware of, that you need to be mindful of. I would like to see a lot of development in this area in terms of regulation, as I've stated throughout this video. Most importantly, I'd like to see games companies and other interested invested parties disclose what they're saying here at the bottom part, which is disclosing loot box drop rates, just in terms of outcomes, in terms of chances of winning, and introducing spending limits to encourage responsible gaming. I think that's the way forward for this one. As much as the Gambling Commission have got a lot on their plate, this is something that I think needs its full attention on, and something that I'd like to see them address. That's everything from the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any commentary or any comments on loot boxes, drop them below. Again, I'm not an expert on it. I'm just drawing it from personal experience and from what I've witnessed. So if anybody's got further insight or opinion on these mechanisms, I'll be grateful to listen to your point of view and see what your recommendations would be. Thanks a million. See you in the next video.